Hello, I'm Daniela. In today's video, I'm going to show you how I make Christmas medallions with ribbon and fabric and a little bit of extras that I have in my studio. These are beautiful to add to your books, to add to a gift package, or even an ornament to hang on your tree. So let's get started. So my Christmas medallions here are just a fun little project made from scraps that I can tuck into my journal or use as a slow stitching piece. It's really enjoyable to make. Now here's an assortment of them, and they're made from the leftovers that I have that I don't want to part with quite yet, little pieces of lace, or in this case, because it's Christmas, little designs that came with either ornaments or buttons or something that I want to use. This is a little embroidered patch. Here's a little felt snowflake from some garland, a felt Santa. This is a piece of ribbon. I just love that design. Here I have a button as well as a cut up piece of ribbon, some trim, miniature stocking. I think that was in an ornament, a pack of them. I have my ribbons and some fabric. And here I used a little postage stamp from a card my brother sent me. It's just cute little ways to do this. And you just take leftovers. You can obviously use brand new ribbons as well, but I like to just use the leftovers. So let me show you how I do that. While I'm working on my Christmas fabric book, I keep a basket where I just tuck in the odds and ends. These are little bits of ribbons or pieces of fabric, pieces of lace that I'm not ready to part with. The end of the season, when I'm done with my Christmas creating, I'll go through the basket and salvage anything that I think is worth saving. If not, I'll get rid of it. But I have a bunch of trims, some little felt shapes and whatnot, ribbons. So I like to take those out. Some are projects I started in previous years that I haven't completed yet. And I just work with whatever I have here. So I'll remove all the ribbons that I'm going to use. And now I'll go through this and look for something to make the medallion. The easiest part is the ribbon that dangles from the medallion, and now I just need something to use for my focal point. So I'll just go through this and kind of organize it somewhat, see what's here. So in going through my stash, I found some things for the award part of a medallion. Today I'm going to use this wool snowflake, and I think I will stitch a button right to that. And I'll stick with a neutral theme. So I'll go through my supplies and see what I have that would complement that nicely. I want to stick to the neutral colors. And then I have this little colored image, which I can use, or I have this little wooden soldier. I think I want to use him because he's so tiny. I think I want to stick with small, narrow little ribbons coming off it. So I'll play around, see what supplies I have, and then start to attach these pieces. So I've narrowed down my supplies for each of my medallions. I'll set these aside for here because I'm going to glue these together. But these I'm going to sew. So I already stitched the button to the center of that snowflake, the top of my medallion. And now I have all this lace I can play around with, trying to come up with a setup. I'll start with my thickest lace here, this long strand, because that's a pretty way to start. And then I have this larger piece here that I can add or leave out altogether. And I think I'm going to leave it out. I don't think it's really right for this project. I'll add a few more layers to my piece. Just the design work here. And maybe one more here. I like to incorporate all these different shades. So I have the basic design here of my medallion. I'll trim everything down and just stitch it together. And I like to just stitch all these pieces together at once, and then I'll stitch it to my snowflake. So there I have my snowflake medallion. I think it's so beautiful. And now for my second scrap medallion, I have an assortment of trims here. I wanted to pick up the gold and the red in this little wooden nutcracker. So I have a bunch of things to try out. And for this one, I think I just want to keep it simple with these 3 trims. So I'll get out my fabric glue and attach these pieces. So now to make sure they stick, I cut a little piece of this cardstock off that can be the buffer for the back of this piece. So I will have the ribbons in between this little piece of cardstock and the nutcracker here. So I'll just take my fabric glue, put a little bit on that wooden piece, and then I'll just add my little trim here and there. I can trim the end when it's completely done. And then I'll take my little cardstock piece and attach it just like that to the back. I'll let this dry, and then I have another little medallion made from most leftover scraps or odds and ends from my studio. So this is the finished little medallion using this little wooden piece here. And you could really go to town and do different things. Here's the finished one with the woolen snowflake, the lace, the neutral. When you see them all together, it's kind of overwhelming, but each one adds just a little element, something really unique to your fabric book or your fabric piece, your little work of art. I like that you can adjust the length here, and I'll do that accordingly to my usage. This one to me is just really so beautiful. I just love the neutrals. So that's how I make my Christmas medallions. It's a great way to use up extra fabric and goodies that you have in your collection that you have been saving, but you're not quite sure what to use them for. They make such interesting tidbits. They're little clusters, but I think they remind me of a medallion. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe. And please consider becoming a paid member of my channel, where I share behind the scenes footage and little extra videos. Thanks again for your support.